Are you living among 100 things you no longer need? Brenda, 71 years old, said she couldn't remember the last time she opened the drawer next to her bed where she kept old batteries, random chargers with unknown devices, a few expired eye drops, and a remote from a TV she gave away last year. She said, "I guess I kept them thinking I might need them someday, but then I forgot they were even there." The truth is, many people aren't messy. They're just surrounded by things that were once useful but quietly turned into excess leftovers and clutter. Every time we say, "I'll keep this just in case," we're placing another burden into drawers we pretend are invisible. One day you realize your home feels full, not because it's small, but because it holds too many things no one uses anymore. This video will help you take a closer look at those items, not to throw everything out, but to choose what makes your life easier, calmer and less exhausting every time you try to find something simple. We'll go through specific groups of items, from daily tools and expired cosmetics to clothes that no longer fit, broken gadgets, duplicates, and even things tied to memories that now only weigh you down. Each section comes with real examples, practical actions, and guiding questions to help you decide for yourself. If you've ever felt something in your home makes you tired without knowing what it is, maybe it's time to take another look. And if you see yourself in this moment, hit subscribe, because the next parts will help you let go of one item at a time, gently, and without having to do it all at once. Items you're saving for someday. Clyde, 76, had a cardboard box under the kitchen cabinet labeled in marker. For later, inside were an old citrus juicer, a few plastic lids with no matching containers, a Nokia charger from over a decade ago, and a nearly empty bottle of floor cleaner. He said, "I don't know when I'll use them, but it feels like a waste to toss them." The truth is, many people keep things thinking they'll need them someday, but that day never comes, or if it does, they forget they ever had it. Things like an old jar of cream, a random cord, a pretty scrap of fabric, a dried-out pen, or a half-written note just sit there collecting dust, taking space, and making every cleanup feel overwhelming. Saving things for someday sounds reasonable, but if it's been through a few springtimes and still hasn't been touched, maybe it no longer deserves a place in your home. Decluttering doesn't mean throwing everything out. It just means asking a few honest questions. Do I still need it? Would I remember it if no one mentioned it? If it were gone, would my life be worse in any way? If the answer to all three is no, then the decision is already clear. You don't need to start in the garage or the attic. Just pick one drawer, one box, and choose one item you had forgotten about. You'll feel a small sense of lightness, enough to keep going. And that's how it begins, not by tossing, but by choosing what still belongs with you today. Now take a look around your home. Is there something you're keeping just in case, but haven't used in 3 years? If so, that's your starting point. Small items that exhaust you. Marlene, 70, had a drawer in her living room that made her sigh. Every time she opened it, inside were a dozen pens, most out of ink, 2 pairs of scissors, a few rolls of dried-out tape, a bunch of old rubber bands, some random keys with no locks, and a flashlight with a corroded head. She said, "I don't know when I kept all this, but whenever I try to clean it, I don't know what to toss." Small items often go unnoticed, and that's why they linger so long, quietly sitting there, year after year, adding to the mess, the fatigue, and even our resistance to tidying up. No one gets tired because of one pair of scissors, but you'll feel frustrated digging through 10 things just to find the one that works. No one complains about a candle, but if you have 7 scattered around dusty and half used, and you can't remember which ones are lit or not, that's when the weariness sets in. Tiny things pile up, and piles make your home feel tight. But clutter doesn't always come from large objects. If you have a junk drawer, a catch-all cabinet, or a bin labeled "Still Useful Stuff," maybe it's time to start there. Decluttering isn't for beauty, it's for peace of mind. Every item should earn its place by serving your current life. And if it only adds frustration when you open a drawer, it's not worth keeping. Pick one small item. Try using it today, if it's inconvenient, unnecessary, or simply unpleasant. Letting it go is a kind and honest choice. Now think, is there one tiny thing in your home that makes you sigh whenever you see it? If so, begin there. Duplicates scattered around the house. Gerard, 73, had 5 pairs of scissors in the kitchen, 4 tongs, 3 soup ladles, and over 20 pens spread across the room. He said he only used one favorite pair of scissors and 1 blue ink pen. The rest were still good, so I haven't thrown them out yet. But duplicates don't come from real need. They come from forgetting what we already own. Many people buy a new one because they can't find the old one, and then both sit unused. Duplicates don't just take up space. They also confuse us when we're searching for the item we need. If you open a drawer and see 3 can openers, 4 identical bowls, 2 matching screwdriver sets, or 6 bottles of ketchup in the fridge, chances are you're holding on to more than you truly need. The question isn't whether the item still works, but whether you truly use all of them. If it's been untouched for months, and you always reach for something else, it's no longer essential. Try gathering a group of items such as pens, scissors, bowls, flashlights, and towels, and keep only the number you use. Donate or discard the rest so your space isn't filled with duplicates. Start small with just one category, and you'll see how little it takes to live more simply. And if today you keep just 1 pair of scissors, 1 pen, 1 bowl that you truly love, that drawer will instantly feel lighter. Now, let's move on to the items that aren't duplicates, but no longer serve you, the ones you've known deep down you should let go but haven't yet. Broken and unused items. Ellen, 67, kept a hairdryer with a broken handle, a rice cooker with a loose lid, and a desk lamp that flickered. She said, "I meant to fix them, but every time I see them, I feel too lazy to bring them out." Broken items are not always seen as trash because they still look intact, and there's often a small hope they can be repaired. But when years go by and they're still sitting there not fixed, not used, then you're living among things that have stopped serving you. Broken objects take up space but bring no value. And every time you see them, you add another "I'll deal with it later" to your mental list. A dead watch, a flashlight that doesn't turn on a noisy juicer, or a fan that rattles if they bothered you the last time you used them. Chances are you won't reach for them again. And if you don't fix it this week, you probably never will. Choose one item. Check it carefully, and if you know you won't repair it, or if it no longer feels good to use, then let it go. You can give it to someone who knows how to fix it, or discard it if it's unsafe. What you're doing is not throwing things away. It's reclaiming safety, clarity, and the peace of not having to avoid something every time you open a cabinet. Now look around your home. Is there something broken that you've been keeping anyway? If so, let that be the first thing you let go of today. Items that no longer suit who you are. Nathan, 72, kept 3 suits he used to wear to work 20 years ago, a pair of stiff leather shoes that no longer fit, and some tied ties he didn't like but folded neatly. He said, "I don't wear them anymore, but they're still in good shape, so I haven't thrown them out." Tilda, 66, kept a yoga outfit she used to wear when she was more active, a deep red lipstick and a strong perfume that now gives her headaches. She said, "Those were things I used to love, but every time I try them now, they just don't feel right." Our bodies and preferences change, but our belongings don't walk away on their own. And if you don't update them, they stay and remind you of a version of yourself you no longer want to be. You might be keeping clothes that are too tight, expired makeup, or fancy hair tools that your hands are no longer steady enough to use. And every time you see them, you don't feel joy. You just feel like you're ignoring the present while clinging to the past. Choose 3 items you know you can live without. You don't miss them, you don't feel guilty, and you no longer feel like the person who used them. Keeping what suits who you are today is the kindest thing you can do for yourself. You don't need to be your 40-year-old self again. You just need to live lighter at 60 or 70. And if today you let go of one item that once meant something big, you're taking a real step back toward who you are now. Things you keep for others. Patty, 69, had a cabinet full of old toys for her grandkids, a few small toy cars, a stuffed bear with a torn ear, and some wrinkled coloring books. She said, "They rarely visit, but I'm afraid they'll be sad if I throw these away." Fred, 75, still kept his late wife's old clothes, a wool hat, a pair of gloves, and a coat that still smelled like her perfume. He didn't wear them or wash them, just kept them in the closet like she was still there. Sometimes we keep things not because we need them, but because we believe keeping them holds on to someone we've lost, or pleases someone who no longer visits. But have you ever asked yourself, do they still need these things? Do they even know you kept them? And if they loved you, would they want you to live with clutter and guilt? Keeping things for others is kind, but if it makes your life harder, that kindness has turned into a burden. You can choose to keep 1 or 2 meaningful pieces and let the rest go, not because you're letting go of that person, but because you're choosing to free your heart to keep living. And when you release the first thing that doesn't truly belong to you, you'll feel your home becoming yours again, not a storage room for someone else's past. Items filled with memories that make you sad. Judith, 74, kept a box of letters from her late husband. Inside were handwritten notes, wedding photos, and small gifts. She rarely opened the box, just glanced at it and closed it again. She said, "I'm afraid if I open it I'll cry, but if I throw it away I'll feel guilty." Memories are precious, but the items that hold them don't always bring happiness. Sometimes they just bring sorrow. Some people keep childhood drawings, old birthday cards, vintage outfits, poetry notebooks, scraps of a wedding dress. These things aren't bad, but if every time you see them your chest tightens, maybe it's time to sort through them. Not every memory has to live in a thing. Sometimes keeping it in your heart is enough. You can pick 3 items, take a photo, write a few grateful words, then box them away or let them go. Keep 1 photo, 1 note, 1 object that still makes you smile. When you look at it, that's enough. Memories shouldn't be a rainstorm that soaks your heart. They should be a breeze that calms your mind. You don't have to throw everything away. Just ask yourself, does this lighten my heart or weigh it down? If it's heavy, let it go in peace. Garages, closets, and trunks where procrastination hides. Charles, 77, opened his storage shed after more than 2 years. Inside were 3 broken chairs, a box of old light bulbs, a bin of broken fans, and many things he couldn't remember putting there. He said I kept thinking I'd clean it later, but never did. Garages, storage rooms, and car trunks are places we think are temporary, but things sit there for 5 or 10 years and never leave. Boxes of clothes meant to be donated, Christmas decorations from when the kids were small, old paint cans, leftover wood, unused tools, they all stay as unfinished promises. And every time you step inside, you feel tired before you even begin. The solution isn't to clean everything at once. It's to choose one box, one corner, one morning. Let go of just 3 items you know for sure you won't use again and save the rest for another day. What you're doing is not cleaning a shed, it's reclaiming control of your space. You'll feel lighter when your garage has room for the car, when your trunk isn't full of plastic bags, and when you open the closet and don't feel guilty. Living simply starts with the places we ignore. And sometimes the thing you dread most is the thing you should release first. Feeling lighter. From 100 small things. You've just walked through 100 real-life items, from duplicate scissors expired, makeup tight clothing, useless chargers to sentimental keepsakes. Things for others, broken tools and unfinished commitments. There's nothing here you haven't seen before. You just may not have asked the simple question, do I still need this decluttering? Doesn't mean getting rid of everything. It means keeping what brings you ease every day. A home doesn't need to be big, just light. A closet doesn't need to be full, just clear. And memories don't need to live in objects. They can live in your heart. If you begin today with just one item, then you've already taken your first step. Thank you for staying with us until the end. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know you're there. Your support means the world to us. See you again in the next videos where you won't have to declutter everything at once.